Bobby Stein here. So I'm on Highway 8 between Cleveland and Louisville, and I'm at Dockery Plantation. This would be a good place to start our film. There's the Dockery Baptist Church. And Dockery Farms. Let's walk over and see what the historical marker says. It says established in 1895 and operated in 1937 to 1982 by Joe Rice Dockery. The plantation once employed Charlie Patton, a legendary blues musician who inspired such greats as Muddy Waters, Robert Johnson, B.B. King, and Elvis Presley.
This is Dockery Plantation, the heart of the Delta of New England. If you had to pick one single spot as the birthplace of blues, you might say it almost started as Bryant.
We're headed east on Highway 8, still between Cleveland and Louisville. Louisville is a few miles up the road, and while I had different plans, I thought that I would go by and film the grave of Fannie Lou Hamer from Louisville, Mississippi. Big in the civil rights area back in the 60s and 70s. We'll be there in a few minutes. Right here is Lester Bayless Costume Museum. He was big in Hollywood as a costume designer. He was the main costume designer for John Wayne, and when his career was over, he moved back to Louisville and opened up a little museum. Unfortunately it's closed, so we'll have to hit that another time. So this is where Fannie Lou Hamer is buried, her and her husband. She's famous for saying, "I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired." Looks like she started her civil rights work in 1962. I'm still in Louisville, folks. I saw this house and I really fell in love with it. Oh, it's the business center for the hospital. Okay, we're turning on Highway 8 going east. We're in unfamiliar territory. Man, look at all this fertile delta land. It goes for miles and miles. Some of the richest soil in the United States. So this is Mentor City. I've never been here. I've been by here on the highway. So let's check it out. This is an oil mill. Wow, it's big. This must be what's left of downtown Mentor City. So it wasn't marked, but this is the road to Money, Mississippi. And we'll be there in a few minutes. We're in Money, Mississippi. In 1955, a young black teenager named Emmett Till, who lived in Chicago, came down to Money to visit relatives. And after he'd been here a few days, he came to this store. It was called the Bryant store, owned by Carolyn and Roy Bryant. And so the history says is he came in the store and he wolf whistled at Carolyn Bryant, then bought something and left the store. Several days later, while he was staying at his Uncle Mose Wright's house, he was abducted, taken out in the country, tortured, maimed, killed. A fan motor was wrapped around his body, and he was thrown into the Tallahatchie River. When his body was recovered, his mother had his body shipped to Chicago, and she had his funeral with an open casket so the world could see what these people did to her son. And that, my friends, is one of the beginnings of the civil rights movement. Hundreds of thousands of people viewed the body in the open casket of Emmett Till. And this was right around the same time, I think, as the Montgomery bus boycott started by Rosa Parks. So really, this is one of the places, Money, Mississippi, that the civil rights era started. Roy Bryant and his half-brother went on trial. I believe it was in Sumner, Mississippi. And the jury deliberated, not long, probably about 20 minutes. And they came back with a verdict of not guilty for both men. About 30 days later, Look magazine interviewed the two men. They paid them handsomely. I think they gave them $30,000 for the interview, where they admitted that they did kill Emmett Till. That's the story. I think they were supposed to be working on a museum here, but I don't see any signs of it. So that's the Bryant store, what's left of it. And there used to be a historical marker here. but I think it'd been shot up so many times they must have taken it down. Yeah, this is where the marker was. Folks, if you keep going down this way, which I guess I'll do, this will take you into Greenwood, and I hope y'all enjoyed the video. I was planning on going a little further east, but I think I'm going to call it a day today. And y'all please hit that like button, and if you like my channel, please subscribe. I welcome all comments and suggestions. Thank y'all. I love y'all. My subscriptions are up to about 456 now, so I'm going in the right direction. Y'all have a good day, and we'll see you next video. When I was driving back to Greenwood on this road, I came across these Tallahatchie Flats. It looks like it's a bunch of cabins with either a restaurant or a store nearby. So I never heard of this. I've never seen it before, but it did look pretty interesting. So I thought I'd film it. And if anybody knows about this, please put it in the comments below. And then a little further down the road, I came across this old black church, and I love black churches. And then I read this plaque, and this is the cemetery that Robert Johnson is buried in. I'm looking for Robert Johnson's grave. It says Robert L. Johnson, May 8th, 1911, August 16th, 1938. Musician and composer, he influenced millions beyond his time. The writing says, Jesus of Nazareth, King of Jerusalem, I know that my Redeemer liveth and that he will call me from the grave. Handwritten by Robert Johnson shortly before his death and preserved among family papers. And there's some Evan Williams. Maybe I'll take a sip. There's a Bud Light, a cigarette, I sure need that. Champagne, hell, we could have a party here. With all due respects, I pay my respects to Robert Johnson.